Okay, in this example, what we're going to do, well, actually, not even an example. All we're going to do is just review what we learned in sixth grade about ratios. We're going to need it for this next module that we're going to be going into, where we'll be using ratios for us to connect it to percents and some other problems that we'll be looking at. So just remember that a ratio is a comparison of two things or quantities. And what happens is when we're talking about the ratio, the first item that we mention is going to be listed first. The second item that we mention will then be listed second. And then I'm going to give you an example. So let's say that we have blueberries to fruit. Okay. This would be considered a part to whole example. And there are three different types of ratio problems that we could have. We could have a part to whole, and I'll just write some notes over here. So we have a part to whole. Okay. We could have a whole to part ratio. And then we could have what's called a part to part. Okay. So in this example, we're talking about a part and we're comparing it to the whole. So we're talking about one of the fruits and then we're comparing that to the total fruits. So including everything. So let's say that we have um, four blueberries, six apples, seven oranges, six pineapples. That means that we have a total of 23 fruits. So if we're looking at this ratio, what we need to remember is that you're going to provide me the information in the order that I mentioned. So, what I typically like to look at is when I'm talking about ratios, that clue word is two. Okay, so anything that comes before two is going to be listed first, and anything that comes after is going to be listed second. Okay, and so they mentioned blueberries first, so we listed blueberries, and then they mentioned fruit, so that's going to be the second piece here. This is called a colon form. So there's three different ways that we can write a ratio. So this is our colon form. And then we could also write it in fraction form. So fraction form, it would look like this. So we're comparing again blueberries first, and then the fruit will be listed second. And then the last form is called our word form. So we could do blueberries to fruit. So what does that look like if we're talking about these fruits here? How would we write that ratio out? Well, if we go back to our colon form, how many blueberries do we have? We have four. And then how many fruits do we have? So there's 23. So that ratio should look like a 4 to 23 in the colon form. If we're talking about in fraction form, same thing. We're just going to replace the blueberries with the 4, and then we're going to replace our fruit with the 23. And then finally, in word form, it would look like 23. I'm sorry, 4 for the blueberries to 23. Okay, so that's letting us know what our ratios is. So hopefully this helps you out. Again, this is just review from sixth grade. So let's move on into the next lesson after this one.